Hey guys, it's Tati, and this is update video on Mortar Cannon cluster grenade build. I already made a build guide on this, and I will leave the video link in the description if you missed it. But in this video I'm going to talk about different upgrades I found so far to this build. So this build carried me through my hardcore playthrough. I was kind of absolutely killing all the new bosses, the most dangerous one in Act 4 and Interludes. You can see the clips of me just destroying those bosses in mere seconds. It was no issues. Sadly, I didn't learn any mechanics with these bosses because they were getting destroyed so fast, but I'm still glad that I managed to get to maps. Even though I died one time before I switched to Mortar Cannon around level 45, so I had to replay from start on hardcore, and I only just got to maps, just finished campaign. So I'm a little bit behind than some people, but a lot of people in my Twitch chats play this build, and they are already farming highest tier 15 plus maps with it, both on softcore and hardcore. So I'm very confident that this build not only destroys campaign, but also is really strong in endgame. So here is me destroying the final boss of the final interludes. It was super easy, and here we are. I was level 66 at this moment when I killed the final boss. So this build gave me some issues with FPS initially. I wanted to talk about that once again. I already mentioned that in the initial build guide. I had FPS drops because there is so many explosions on the screen at the same time from cluster grenades being so condensed with faster explosions and less projectile speed. So to me personally, it really helps activating NVIDIA DLSS upscale modes, and I changed my max image quality to performance. You could even try ultra performance to have even better FPS potentially. Some people in chat also had issues, and it helped them to change their sound channel count from high to medium or low even. So I have a pretty stable FPS now with the build, so I don't need to reduce my channel counts on sounds, but yeah, you could try doing that too if you still have issues. So little change to the tree that I made is about totem placement speed. Initially, the speed of placing mortar cannons feels kind of slow. So an initial guide in the warrior part here next to Carved Earth, I was taking totem damage nodes, but yeah, I think it's way better to travel through totem placement speed nodes. We'll lose a little bit of damage, it's not that much though, but the placement speed feels way better. We also have two jewel sockets on the tree, here and here. And so now our jewels, we really want to prioritize the stat totem placement speed. So you can get up to 20%. So in 2 jewels, it's going to be another 40% totem placement speed, which feels way nicer to place those totems. Another really good modifier to have on jewel, by the way, is increased damage against fully broken armor. It can roll up to 25%, just like this note on the small note here. And yeah, the rest of the modifiers on the jewel, just something that works well. You can get resistances, you can get life regen, you can get some other damage types. It's all gonna be good. So there is also support gem that a lot of people in chat suggest me to try to use, Urgent Totems 3. It gives 100% totem placement speed and also 20% increased attack speed to ballista. And I tried to do a few zones with this support gem, but honestly, to me, the totem placement speed difference, once we get a little bit of on tree, doesn't feel that significant, and attack speed we don't really need to scale in this build. I explained why in the build video guide. So I ended up not using this support. I don't like it enough. So we found out that there is a new helmet that probably is best in slot. It's called Constricting Command. I actually managed to buy one here in hardcore trade, but it's not properly divined yet. So the last line says requires from 2 to 5 fewer enemies for you to count as being surrounded. Surrounded means that's when you have at least 5 enemies within 3 meters of you. So if you have requires 5 fewer enemies, the max roll, then you always will count as surrounded. And why is it good to be surrounded? Well, because we are right next to 2 clusters on 3 for surrounded nodes, and they're really powerful. So this one down here gives together 175% increased attack damage. 175, these 4 nodes. This is so much damage. We don't care about this reduced accuracy penalty, by the way, in this case. So this is super powerful. This node gives movement speed and dodge roll distance, which will feel so great in terms of like speed as well. And this node is kind of nice defensively. It gives threshold and deflection rating too. So maybe worth taking as well. This one is not as interesting. I mean, it gives 2.5% maximum life per second regen while surrounded. There's actually a lot of regen too. This air effect we don't need, and attack speed we don't need either, even though small nodes give some increased damage too. But yeah, especially this cluster for surrounded looks so good. And this helmet also already has life and attributes, so it has already good stats. That's really nice. Another thing is that this cluster of surrounded is right next to this jewel slot, which we have in our tree. So you can put the threshold or like radius jewel in here. I sadly don't have one yet, but they exist, and they will increase the effectiveness of nodes in radius. So you can increase effect of this even further and get even more damage and even more movement speeds. So that sounds really nice. I definitely will try to divine this helmet once I get some extra currency, and we'll spec into this node. And also spec into this node, we probably want to remove the node that was taken on the right side, this Giant Slayer. Yeah, we probably can just get rid of this. Or maybe get rid of these nodes that took the Ricochet. Another new thing is we can have some easy crowd control tags. If you have problems with survivability, then you can, for example, pin enemies. We're playing Warbringer and not Tactician on this build, so we don't have automatic pin. But these cheap boots, Bushwhack, they make it so that your physical damage is pinning. So Classic Grenade converts only 40% of damage to fire, so 60% of damage is still physical, so this is going to be a really, really big pin. And really fast one, so nothing in the maps will be moving, everything will be immobilized, pretty much. I sadly can't really test how good it feels, because so far I'm just literally one-shotting everything in the campaign, really, except for bosses, which also die in like 10-15 seconds. But yeah, once I will get to higher tier maps and enemies will get tankier, I guess I will give it a go and see how much I like it. But yeah, so this option is worth considering. Another option for easy crowd control is you can try to do freeze through these unique gloves, Blue Flame Bracers, which we were using on Artillery Ballista builds in previous league. So this converts 100% of fire damage to cold damage. So again, 40% of our damage is fire, because by default Classic Grenade converts 40% to fire. So this 40% will be converted to cold damage. So as a result, there's going to be also a lot of freeze action in maps, and most of the enemies will be easily fast frozen, which also should make it feel safer. Sadly, it's going to be a DPS loss though, because we use this node ball tree, which applies our fully broken armor debuff to fire damage in addition to physical damage. It will not work for cold damage, so these nodes will not be as powerful if we use cold conversion, sadly. But still something to consider. Again, I can't really test it because I'm one-shotting everything, so I don't need to have this crowd control yet, but in higher tier maps maybe. Another really crazy tech that chat suggested me to try is Font of Blood support gem. This support makes it so that totems that are close to you will leech life from their damage to you. So percent of their physical damage with the, again, our totems do 6% of damage is physical. They'll be leeching, and will be leeching super quickly. I tried to use this Font of Blood instead of payload support on my fourth support gem. And the leech is actually insanely fast. I can showcase a few clips of me leeching in a moment. Let me show it. So yeah, I'm taking damage on purpose here, and then I place a totem, and it leashes life to me so quickly. It happens so quickly, and feels extremely powerful. Another clip of me taking damage here and leeching back super quickly. But again, you have to be close to your totem. You have to be within the radius of this font of blood. You can't walk too far away from your totem for this tech to work. Another thing you could consider for this tech is right next to our tree we have this leech nodes, and this notable makes it so that life leech effects are not removed when your unreserved life is filled. So normally, as soon as you hit your life cap, life leech effects will get removed. So whenever you take damage again, you will have to wait for your totems to attack some monster again to proc another instance of leech. But yeah, with this notable, it's only 3 nodes. It should be should feel even smoother. Your life should go back up all the time, super easily. And this is another tech that I will be testing in higher tier maps when, like, if I will face some problems with survivability. And people in chat who already farm red tier maps, they say that was kind of helpful to them. There is another option for the life recovery. On our tree, or I mean on Amulet actually. On Amulet we can try to allocate watchtowers notable. So it requires liquid emotions, and these are pretty rare actually, suffering. But yeah, so this will make so that when totems take damage, they will recoup portion of this damage as life to you. So when totems are damaged, you are getting healed. And totems are constantly getting damaged throughout the map, so that probably should be kind of consistent. This node also applies some extra damage, by the way, so it's pretty good allocation on Amulet. But I literally can't test it right now because this suffering emotion doesn't even exist on hardcore trade market yet. So I can't get access to it, even if I wanted to. But yeah, maybe worth considering trying that for some nice life recovery. So speaking of weapon crafting, there is... Generally we want just a weapon with a lot of physical damage. So I couldn't really get an amazing crossbow yet. I have flat physical and a little bit increased, and then lightning damage, which actually helps me applying shock to bosses. You could see them in bosses getting shocked in my video clips of killing bosses, but yeah, it's not best in slot, definitely. So you want increased physical, then hybrids increased physical, and flat physical. There is a new desecrate modifier though. So desecration is the new crafting mechanic. You can drop from abysses these different bones, and you can desecrate your weapon with it. On prefix, on a crossbow, it's possible to desecrate and reveal +1 number of summoned ballista modifier. So we can get another +1 totem. It's gonna be a really nice DPS boost to get it. But there is actually another desecrate modifier on crossbow. It's a suffix and not a prefix. And it gives up to 25% chance for grenades to detonate additional time. So it's basically 25% more damage. And honestly, I think this modifier is gonna be even stronger, but it's gonna be harder to craft such crossbow because you should only consider going for this suffix grenade additional detonation if you already have great prefixes, which is increased physical, flat physical, and hybrid physical. And like, yeah, it's pretty hard to craft this bow, such crossbow, without using desecration options. And another really powerful thing is there is this perfect essence of battle. It makes it so that on crossbow, you can roll on a suffix +6 levels of all attack skills. So this will give another 6 levels to our cluster grenade, which has attack tag. And our mortar cannon does not have attack tag, so it will not scale the mana cost of this. So that's going to be a smooth and really good DPS boost. So yeah, ideal crossbow should be like this. You get 3 physical prefixes, and then you desecrate a grenade detonate additional time suffix, and then you... Actually, first you slam essence to get +6 levels to all attack skills, and then you desecrate for additional grenade detonation. I think that should be the maximum DPS output for the weapon, considering all these new crafting techniques. So I just talked about Manacost of the Totem. When I switched to Mortar Cannon at level 52, so level 11 is the lowest level at which you can use Mortar Cannon. Or tier 11 skill gem. And I actually never leveled it up since, because when you level up Mortar Cannon, you increase two things. You increase Totem defenses, so Totems get tankier, and you increase the mana cost. And mana costs can be kind of problematic if you increase levels of Mortar Cannon too much. So I keep it as low level as possible right now. Totems, of course, are squishier as a result, but so far I didn't have any issues with Totems dying too much. Because again, in this build, the gameplay is that we keep summoning new Totems. We keep resummoning, because you create a new Totem, it has 2 cooldown uses of Cluster Grenades, it uses them, and then it doesn't shoot anymore. So you need to summon a new Totem instead of the old one, so that new one starts shooting grenades again. So yeah, to keep mana cost manageable, we try to keep level of Mortar Cannon as low as possible. Make sure to do that. And another option, if your totems get damaged too much, die too fast, you feel like, you could consider on the passive tree next to Carved Earth to spec these 2 nodes into Hardened Wood. It just gives totems both physical and elemental damage mitigation, so should make totems much tankier. Again, I didn't have to take it because I don't have problems with totems ability at the moment, so it feels good. Another question I get a lot in Twitch chat is whether this build's playable on Tactician instead or no. So I recommend this build to be played on Warbringer for +1 Totem and these Ancestral Spirits, which still don't work actually in the game. It's still bugged, but it should be fixed really soon. The automatic armor break, the 20% less damage taken is super powerful, and the Jades, encasing Jades, is a powerful defensive node. But the answer to whether it's playable in Tactician is yes, it is definitely playable. Tactician Ascendancy has powerful pin nodes, which just, in my opinion, carries the Ascendancy, honestly. It's automatically immobilizes and even basically freezes all enemies in maps. It's super powerful. You definitely don't want to take the +1 Totem node on Tactician though, because this node also makes it so that Totems don't automatically shoot, but only when you shoot. And this will make gameplay, you know, less smooth, because right now I just place Totems and let them kill everything. I don't do anything else actually. I have like only 1 extra skill in my skill bar, Flash Grenades, which I barely ever use. Feels really smooth so far. So on Tactician, you definitely can play this build. The way you change your tree is that you just unconnect the start of the warrior from my tree, and you connect to Tactician through the projectile damage nodes. We take these nodes on our final tree anyway. And another thing is that on Tactician you will not have automatic armor break like we do on Warbringer from Ascendancy. So you will not be able to benefit and scale DPS from these fully broken armor nodes. So you also remove them. And then you probably want to equip this potentially best-in-slot helmets I mentioned earlier today in the video, Constricting Command, and spec these nodes that you saved here in surrounded nodes. That's pretty much all the changes I can think of for Tactician. So yeah, it's very playable Tactician, probably even second best option. I was considering rolling Tactician initially, but then decided Warbringer is stronger. I will continue playing this build on hardcore. Again, I just got 2 maps. I will try to progress through Atlas all the way to red maps. And if I will find some more significant changes to the build, or I will test and I will see some changes are required, then I will give more updates in the future videos soon. So we'll see you guys then, and take care of your totems. Bye bye.